Bergen is a city and municipality in Hordaland on the west coast of Norway. As of the end of Q3 2015 update, the municipality had a population of 277,378, and the urban population was 250,420 as of the 1st of January 2015 update, making Bergen the second largest city in Norway. The municipality covers an area of 465 square kilometers and is located on the peninsula of Bergenshavn. The city center and northern neighborhoods are located on Byfjorden, and the city is surrounded by mountains. For this reason, Bergen is known as the City of Seven Mountains. Many of the extra-municipal suburbs are located on islands. Bergen is the administrative center of Hordaland and consists of 8 boroughs: Arna, Bergenhus, Fana, Fyllingsdalen, Laksevåg, Ytrebygda, Arstad and Asan. Trading in Bergen may have started as early as the 1020s, but the city was not incorporated until approximately 1070. It served as Norway's capital in the 13th century, and from the end of the 13th century became a bureau city of the Hanseatic League. Until 1789, Bergen enjoyed exclusive rights to mediate trade between northern Norway and abroad. The remains of the Keys Bryggen is a World Heritage Site. The city was hit by numerous fires. The Bergen School of Meteorology was developed of the Geophysical Institute beginning in 1917. The Norwegian School of Economics was founded in 1936, and the University of Bergen in 1946. From 1831 to 1972, Bergen was its own county. In 1972, the municipality absorbed 4 surrounding municipalities, and at the same time became a part of Hordaland County. The city is an international center for aquaculture, shipping, offshore petroleum industry and subsea technology, and a national center for higher education, tourism and finance. The city's main football team is SK Brann, and the city's unique tradition is the Bøkorps. Natives speak the distinct Bergensk dialect. The city features Bergen Airport, Flesland, the Bergen Light Rail, and is the terminus of the Bergen Line. Bergen Port is Norway's busiest. 4 large bridges connect Bergen to its suburban municipalities. History. The city of Bergen was traditionally thought to have been founded by King Olav Kyrre, son of Harald Hardrade, in 1070 AD, 4 years after the Viking Age ended. Modern research has, however, discovered that a trading settlement was established already during the 1020s or 1030s. Bergen gradually assumed the function of capital of Norway in the early 13th century, as the first city where a rudimentary central administration was established. The city's cathedral was the site of the first royal coronation in Norway in the 1150s, and continued to host royal coronations throughout the 13th century. The functions of capital city were lost to Oslo during the reign of King Haakon V. In the middle of the 14th century, North German merchants who had already been present in substantial numbers since the 13th century, founded one of the 4 contours of the Hanseatic League at Bryggen in Bergen. The principal export traded from Bergen was dried cod from the northern Norwegian coast, which started around 1100. The city was granted monopoly in regards to trade from the north of Norway, by King Haakon Håkonsson. Stockfish was the main reason that the city became one of North Europe's largest centers for trade at the time. By the late 14th century, Bergen had established itself as the center of the trade in Norway. The Hanseatic merchants lived in their own separate quarter of town, where Middle Low German was used, enjoying exclusive rights to trade with the northern fishermen that each summer sailed to Bergen. Today, Bergen's old quayside, Bryggen, is on UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites. In 1349, the Black Death was inadvertently brought to Norway by the crew of an English ship arriving in Bergen. In the 15th century, the city was attacked several times by the Whittle brothers. and in 1429 they succeeded in burning the royal castle and much of the city. In 1665, the city's harbour was the site of the Battle of Bergen, where an English naval flotilla attacked of Dutch merchant and treasure fleet supported by the city's garrison. Throughout the 15th and 16th centuries, Bergen remained one of the largest cities in Scandinavia, and was Norway's biggest city until the 1830s, when the capital city of Oslo became the largest. From around 1600, the Hanseatic dominance of the city's trade gradually declined in favor of Norwegian merchants, and in the 1750s, the Hanseatic contour finally closed. Bergen retained its monopoly of trade with northern Norway until 1789. World War II. During World War II, Bergen was occupied on the first day of the German invasion on 9 April 1940. After a brief fight between German ships and the Norwegian coastal artillery, on 20 April 1944, during the German occupation, the Dutch cargo ship Voorboed anchored off the Bergen Hut fortress, loaded with over 120 tons of explosives, blew up, killing at least 150 people and damaging historic buildings. The city was subject to some Allied bombing raids, aiming at German naval installations in the harbour. Some of these caused Norwegian civilian casualties numbering about 100. The resistance groups in Bergen were Saborg, Milorg, Theta Group and Syvåg, Stein-Organisasjonen and the Communist Party. Bergen was separated from Hordaland as a county of its own in 1831. It was established as a municipality on 1 January 1838. The rural municipality of Bergen Land District was merged with Bergen on 1 January 1877. The rural municipality of Årstad was merged with Bergen on 1 July 1915. The rural municipalities of Arna, Fana, Laksevåg, and Asan were merged with Bergen on 1 January 1972. The city lost its status as a separate county on the same date. Bergen is now a municipality in Norway, in the county of Hordaland. Fires. The city's history is marked by numerous great fires. In 1198, the Baglar faction set fire to the city in connection with a battle against the Birkebeiner faction during the Civil War. In 1248, Holmen and Sversborg burned, and 11 churches were destroyed. In 1413 another fire struck the city, and 14 churches were destroyed. In 1428 the city was plundered by German pirates, and in 1455, Hanseatic merchants were responsible for burning down Munkeliv Abbey. In 1476 Bergen burned down in a fire started by a drunk trader. In 1582, another fire hit the city centre and Strandsiden. In 1675, 105 buildings burned down in Overgaten. In 1686 a new great fire hit Strandsiden, destroying 231 city blocks and 218 boathouses. The greatest fire to date happened in 1702 when 90% of the city was burned to ashes. In 1751, there was a great fire at Vagsbunnen. In 1756, a new fire at Strandsiden burned down 1,500 buildings, and further great fires hit Strandsiden in 1771 and 1901. In 1916, 300 buildings burned down in the city centre, and in 1955 parts of Bergen burned down. Toponymy. The Old Norse forms of the name were Bergven and Bjorgven. The first element is Berg or Bjorg, which translates to mountain. The last element is van, which means a new settlement where there used to be a pasture or meadow. The full meaning is then, the meadow among the mountains, a suitable name. Bergen is often called the city among the seven mountains. It was the playwright Ludvig Holberg who felt so inspired by the seven hills of Rome that he decided that his hometown must be blessed with a corresponding 7 mountains, and locals still argue which 7 they are. In 1918, there was a campaign to reintroduce the Norse form Bjorgvin as the name of the city. This was turned down, but as a compromise the name of the diocese was changed to Bjorgvin by Spådomar. Geography. Bergen occupies most of the peninsula of Bergenshavøen in the district of Midtfjordland in Midwest and Hordaland. The municipality covers an area of 465 square kilometers. Most of the urban area is located on or close to a fjord or bay, although there are several mountains located within the urban area. The city center is surrounded by the 7 mountains, although there is disagreement as to which of the 9 mountains constitute these. Ulriken, Fløyen, Lovstakken and Damsgardsfjellet are always included, as well as 3 of Lidderhorn, Sandviksfjellet, Blamanen, Rundemanen and Kolbeinsvarden. Gulfjellett is the highest mountain in Bergen, at 987 meters above mean sea level. Bergen is sheltered from the North Sea by the islands Askøy, Holsnøy and Sotra. Bergen borders the municipalities Melland, Lindis and Osterøy to the north, Vaksdal and Samnanger to the east, Os and Ostervoll to the south, and Sund, Fjell and Askøy to the west. Climate. Bergen features a temperate oceanic climate. Areas of the municipality at some higher altitude are largely oceanic subpolar, with cool winters and mild summers. Bergen's weather is warmer than the city's latitude might suggest. The Gulf Stream provides the city with the warmest winters of all cities in the Nordic countries. Bergen experiences plentiful rainfall in all seasons, with annual precipitation measuring 2,250 mm on average. This is because the city is surrounded by mountains that cause moist North Atlantic air to undergo orographic lift, yielding abundant rainfall. Rain fell every day between the 29th of October 2006 and the 21st of January 2007, 85 consecutive days. The highest temperature ever recorded was 31.8 degrees Celsius on the 29th of June 1947, and the lowest was minus 13.3 degrees Celsius in January 1987. The high precipitation is often used in the marketing of the city, and figures to a degree on postcards sold in the city. For some time there were umbrella vending machines in the city, but these did not turn out to be a success. Compared to areas behind the mountains on the Scandinavian peninsula, Bergen is much wetter and has a narrower temperature range with very cool summers and mild winters. In terms of temperature and precipitation, Bergen has more in common with the climate of Scotland across the sea than with Oslo and Sweden, where long heat and cold waves occur regularly. In recent years, precipitation and winds have increased in the city. In late 2005, heavy rains caused floods and several landslides, the worst of which killed 3 people on the 14th of September. Some indications are that, due to climate change, storms causing landslides and floods will become more severe in the area and in the surrounding counties. As a response, the municipality created a special 24-man rescue unit within the fire department in 2005, to respond to future slides and other natural disasters, and neighborhoods considered at risk of slides were surveyed in 2006. The prediction was supported by over 480 landslides in Hordaland County from the spring of 2006 to the summer of 2007. Most of the slides hit roads, however none of them had caused damage to cars, buildings, or people, until October 2007, when a large rock dislodged and killed the driver of a car. Another concern is the risk of rising sea levels. Already, Bergen is regularly flooded at extreme tides, and it is feared that as sea levels rise, floods will become a major problem in Bergen. Floods may in the future reach the railroad tracks leading out of the city. It has therefore been suggested by, among others, Stiftelsen Bergen, the foundation responsible for preserving the UNESCO site, that a sea wall, built so that it could be raised and lowered as demanded by the tides, be built outside the harbor to protect the city. Demographics. As of the end of Q3 2015 update, the municipality had a population of 277,378, making the population density 597 people per square kilometre. As of the 1st of January 2015 update, the main urban area of Bergen had 250,420 residents and covered an area of 96.71 square kilometres. Other urban areas, as defined by Statistics Norway, consist of Indre Arna, Fanahammeren, Ytre Arna, Hylkja and Espeland. Ethnic Norwegians make up 84.5% of Bergen's residents. In addition, 8.1% were first or second generation immigrants of Western background and 7.4% were first or second generation immigrants of non-Western background. The population grew by 4,549 people in 2009, a growth rate of 1.8%. 96% of the population live in urban areas. As of 2002, the average gross income for men above the age of 17 is 426,000 Norwegian krone. The average gross income for women above the age of 17 is 238,000 Norwegian kroner, with the total average gross income being 330,000 Norwegian kroner. In 2007, there were 104.6 men for every 100 women in the age group of 20 to 39. 22.8% of the population were under 17 years of age, while 4.5% were 80 and above. The immigrant population in Bergen includes 42,169 individuals with backgrounds from 180 countries, representing 15.5% of the city's population. Of these, 50.2% have background from Europe, 28.9% from Asia, 13.1% from Africa, 5.5% from Latin America, 1.9% from North America and 0.4% from Oceania. The immigrant population in Bergen in the period 1993 to 2008 increased by 119.7%. while the ethnic Norwegian population has grown by 8.1% during the same period. The national average is 138.0% and 4.2%. The immigrant population has thus accounted for 43.6% of Bergen's population growth and 60.8% of Norway's population growth during the period 1993 to 2008. Compared with 84.5% in Oslo. The immigrant population in Bergen has changed a lot since 1970. As of the 1st of January 1986, there were 2,870 persons with non-Western immigrant background in Bergen. In 2006, this figure had increased to 14,630, so the non-Western immigrant population in Bergen was 5 times higher than in 1986. This is a slightly slower growth than the national average, which has sextupled during the same period. Also, in relation to the total population in Bergen, the proportion of non-Western increased significantly. In 1986, the proportion of the total population in the municipality of non-Western background was 3.6%. In January 2006, persons with non-Western immigrant background accounted for 6% of the population in Bergen. The share of Western immigrants has remained stable at around 2% in the period. The number of Poles in Bergen rose from 697 in 2006 to 3,128 in 2010. The Church of Norway is the largest denomination in Bergen, with 201,006 adherents in 2012. Bergen is the seat of the Diocese of Bjugven, with Bergen Cathedral as its centerpiece, which St. John's Church is the city's most prominent. The state church is followed by 52,059 irreligious, 12,000 Catholics belonging to St. Paul Catholic Church, 4,947 members of various Protestant free churches, 2,707 Muslims, 816 Hindus, 255 Russian Orthodox and 147 Oriental Orthodox.